Welcome back to the Edge live in your Bleacher Report app. I am your host, Micah Parsons, and this episode is sponsored by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. And welcome. Obviously, we're bringing back my guy, Trevon Diggs, back to the show. And we got a topic of discussion to handle first. Now, Trey, there was a lot of controversy about my commercial. I played a veteran. And at one point, the game was 50-7. And guess who had 50?
He did.
No. You know
who had it?
What was the score when I played you? 45.
I think I beat you. I think I beat you by 21.
You just gonna lie, like blatantly on the show?
I didn't beat you.
No.
You beat me before, but I beat you more times than you beat me.
That's cap. But the score was 50-7. Like anything. It was no mercy out there. You know what I'm saying?
You're terrible.
The score was a little bit worse, but it was just fun. It wasn't no money up. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It was.
You just wanted to beat him.
Yeah, it was in AT&T Stadium on the Jumbotron. It was just like, I'm home. Like,
wow.
Yeah, it was one of them things. And we both had the Cowboys. And I was just kind of like just throwing it up to CD. CD was mossing the hell out of you, to be honest.
Out of who?
He was beating the hell out of you.
You get a couple of those.
Yeah, I'm just saying, in the game, my CD Lamb was cooking the hell out of you.
But what about his CD Lamb? And your
I had
Trayvon?
his CD Lamb boxed. my Trevon Diggs look like all pro Trevon Diggs.
Okay, cool.
11 interceptions. That's how I got the 60. But his Trevon Diggs like barbecue chicken. Yeah, well, nah, bro. That was cool. But let's get straight into the the loss. Obviously, bro, I'm going to put this out there. We're a damn good football team. I know the scores ain't showing it, and I know, obviously, people feel like we got so many missing pieces, but I just truly believe, like, you almost got to go to things like things that we messing up on. Like, I think our defense is really turning things around. Like, up until that last quarter when they got that touchdown defense, we only really gave up those 2 touchdowns in that first quarter. But other than that, we gave up 6 points in the other 2 quarters.
I agree. I think that, like, the work that we be putting in the facility, and it's hard to overcome. And it's hard to just win the game with defense and hard to just win the game with offense. It got to be all 3 cylinders: offense, defense, special teams. Everybody got to be clicking in one. But I feel like we got a really good football team. I agree with you. Like, we really do.
Yeah, I just hate that, the score don't really show how good we actually are. And I hate that, it seems like, especially for me, you know how good of a coach Al is and how good of a coach I think Zim's doing. I'm just speaking defensively. How good, our coaches have been. I just hate that outcome because our coaches is really doing an amazing job. And
and they study hard too, just to have a game plan for us, just to try to help us, win winning football, and it don't be working out.
Yeah, 100%. So, it's definitely challenging, but at the end of the day, bro, this year, me and you both. I mean, you kind of went through your rookie year. But this is kind of like my first, like, oh, my God moment. Like,
yeah.
And, honestly, bro, it happens every, 3-4 years. Whether it's injuries, whether, you miss out on guys in the free agency. Now, look at, like, D.A. and Dante's having a great year in Washington.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard. We had legitimately, 6 starting edge rushers at one point.
Yeah.
So
a lot of rushes. We was loaded.
Yeah, it's challenging, man. And, and that's part of the business. Like, these guys got to go in and get paid and, kind of move on because you can't pay everybody, as we both know that. So,
Yeah.
it comes with it, man. It's hard to keep veteran guys in, but, obviously going into next year, I think we're going to get after a little bit more, and that's not even saying that we're looking towards next year, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of all these guys that's getting this experience this year, it's really going to turn out the best for us next year.
Yeah, 100%. And we got a bunch of young guys too, so they know what it feel like, like having a losing season. It's not fun at all. I love to win. You love to win. That's where we come from, just winning, and so we're gonna get it together for sure.
100%.
We gotta go through this little adversity. We'll be all right.
100%. And CD's right. They bring it up. CD said they trying to embarrass us. Like, I think people really forget these past 3 years when we was 12-5 and we was blitzing teams. Blitzing.
Yeah, putting belt to everyone.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Joe Mixon forgetting, he got this round. We missing our starting quarterback and a couple other foundational pieces. Yeah. But what happened when he was on that souped-up Cincy team and we held them to 14 points? And what Cooper Rush at quarterback? What we do to him? Belt to what? You know what I'm saying?
DTA.
He on that laugh now type time, catches while we down, laugh now, cry later. We're going to get our lick back. Trust me, this league is very funny. This league is very funny. You know what I'm saying? And that was when they had T. Higgins, Jamar, Lael was over there, Joe Mixon was over there, Tyler Boyd, and we, you know what I mean? We did what we did. So I don't even want to, it's kind of funny how people they kind of forget what we did to them. And now, I know it's right now, but I ain't forget, you know what I'm saying? So I saw him with that little third tutty celebration and mop up time trying to run up the score. No, we it's one of them joints that we put right here.
Nah, for sure.
So
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? As we say, laugh now, cry later. We're gonna get that one back in blood. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
4 losses at this point in a row. Obviously challenging, adversity challenging, but as I said, like, the one thing that I can condone to this team is that no one's rolling over. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Each game, whether it's the Eagles, whether it's the Texans game, they're going to have to give us our best shot because we're going to keep fighting. Because what we say, be the light. Shine bright like a diamond.
Like a diamond.
You know what I'm saying? Because to us, it don't matter, bro. Whether we climb back, whether we don't, I promise to God that, we're going to go out there and fight every game because we ain't never going to put bad tape out there. We showing them what we are and what we capable of every time.
Yeah. We never going to fold. Always going to go out there and give it our best, 100%.
Yeah, man. I mean, and it's tough because, and I say that because, you hear and see, because we're the Cowboys, a bunch of critics about, effort and things like that. But like some of these coaches and cast know, it works in 3 levels, right? If you look at the possessions they scored, one came off kind of, we had a fake punt attempt. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then they scored the one on, so sometimes them stats be so deceiving. Like true hard-earned touchdowns, like drive up the field. Other than that, we played great defense. Like, that kind of bothers me, bro.
It's a great team. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you telling me, and people are very excited about, that Texans team, even that Eagles team. In that first half, what we do? That was a good Eagles team. That game was kind of right there. And then, obviously lack of movement and, kind of the ball just kept not crossing. They kind of, extended a little bit towards that end. But even then, like, I feel like we rating these games. And I feel like if we rating these games and all these young guys is getting these reps, what that mean next year? You know what I'm saying? And, and not even just next year, what does that mean for the rest of the season? I truly believe that we can win more games this year. And then if things don't turn out this year, I truly believe next year we have the capability, the guys to do what we have to do.
Yeah, 100%. This year was very much so needed, especially for young guys. I remember my first year I came here and we wasn't that good at all, but every day I still had on my mind that, I gotta go out there and, still try to be a leader, still try to practice hard, still try to go out there and perform on the field. And we came up out that slump. Next year, went and grabbed the edge rusher, and we was on and popping ever since then. So this is good for them. I like that this happened. Well, I don't like that this happened, but it's good that this happened. They can experience this, and we can move forward from it.
Yeah, man. Like, it's great because obviously when you're on that kind of that other, when you get in the belt now, it's humbling. You say, how did we get here?
Yeah.
How did we get away from this? I'm like you said, you almost got to be happy that we're in this spot because not everyone can get that evaluation box, hit that evaluation box. Starting with us, starting with everybody. Everyone can get that evaluation. What didn't we do better? What could we done better throughout this process? And that's for everybody, man, because no one's perfect. You know what I'm saying? We all
nobody's perfect.
You know what I'm saying? So we all gonna have things that we wish we could have done better. And not everyone gets that evaluation, like, how do we not make this happen again? So, you kind of be like, okay, good, we're here. We got to deal with this funk, but we're going to progress. So I agree with you. I definitely like that. And at the point is, congrats to the Texans, man. They won the Texas Bowl. But all time they're 3-4 against us. We know in our minds we're the real team in Texas. You know what I'm saying? I actually 100%. Saw Dalton Schultz put some little coffee troll thing on Twitter. I'm like, what the hell? Like,
what he was trying to say?
It was like in the coffee mugs, like the Texans are the best team in Texas.
No chance.
Like what? Like
no chance.
That little petty sidebar now that you over there, you feel like, like come on, dog.
Laugh now, cry later.
Like, that's come on, dog. Like, yeah. Like, I get it, like Joe Mixon, did that. He had a decent game, 100 yards, 20 carries, but like no impact on Twitter. Come on, young.
So he didn't cook.
Nah, come on. You know what I'm saying? But they say, are the Texans real contenders? Hey, look at this. Like, come on, young. Like, we know what that was for. Come on, bro. like, stop. You know what I'm saying? But do we look at it and say, are the Texans real contenders in the AFC?
What you think?
Honestly, bro, I think they're a good team. But if I'm looking at some of these other teams, like the Chiefs
in their conference,
the Chiefs, I know they beat the Bills. They put it on. It's just confusing to me, bro. Like they are a good team, but I don't know if they great just yet. Like they a really good team. Like you look at some of the wins, they should have beat the Lions. They jumped on that undefeated Bills team. So a lot of these games, they were in those games, but they lost those games. I think they're on their way to being a great team. I think they will become contenders.
Yeah, they got a lot. They got a lot of talent. Their defense is tough too. Like their defense is really tough. Like real tough. Like they really good. CJ, of course, Nico, a baller, Tank, a baller, Joe Mixon running. They got a lot of good young players. Like for sure.
I definitely think they're on their way. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be very interesting. But another AFC team, let's get straight into that, is the Bengals. A lot of talent in their 4-7 record in the Bengals. And I'm glad they bring this up because this should be a key to all GMs. A very useful key. No matter how good your offense is, you need a defense to win championships. And this is going back the history of times, and people just got to wake up, right? You look at some of Tom Brady's Super Bowls. Tom Brady was down 28-3, right? To the Falcons.
Yep.
Their defense in that second half allowed them to get back in that game with turnovers, stops, right? 28-3. Yeah. It's hard to give that lead up in the Super Bowl. You look at recent Super Bowls. You look at recent Super Bowls. Chiefs, Eagles. It was a shootout. And it came down to one turnover. You know what I mean? You look at the most recent Super Bowl. Chiefs defense again, right? Last year, we're going to say the 49ers had the best offense in the NFL. They had Offensive Player of the Year. Brock Purdy was an MVP candidate. Debo, Brandon Ayuk, All-Pro. Kittle had an amazing year. So, without a doubt, probably one of the most explosive, not explosive, offense in the NFL. You telling me Patrick Mahomes has 2 turnovers? And I know the Chiefs defense got some turnovers and had some great stops back. But that defense really, and I know Patrick Mahomes had a great winning drive at the end of the game that kind of solidified their quarterback and their offense kept them in it. But those crucial stops, making them happen to kick that field goal at the end of the game, standing tall in the goal front, not giving up 7 when Pat threw the interception.
Yeah.
It's just like those significant moments, some game-changing moments, saying, okay, like even Pat said, I remember, I think it was in a show or he had told someone, he was like, we just played a terrible half, but we're only down, what were they down, 12 points? Or 13 points? He's like, we could still win this game. And he was like, man, we could, and they got the stops. They did everything they did, and they field goal their way back into the game, scratch claw, and they became, so this should let you know, a prime example, like, honest to God, Joe Burrow, if it wasn't for his record, let's just say they won the last 4, say they were 7-3. Flip it around.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow will probably be the MVP right now. Yeah. He'll probably be MVP. Joe Burrow leads the league in passing yards. He has over 25 touchdowns. He only has 3 interceptions. And you kind of compare him to Lamar. Oh, he has 4 interceptions. He has 3,028 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Yeah. You kind of look at Lamar. Lamar, he's around the same thing, about 3,000 yards, and he has 25 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So you kind of compare them two, and you say, yo, Lamar is the front runner for MVP because of their record. They're winning games. The defense is playing well. Yeah. Like, all right, so we got the correct stats. Lamar has 2,800 yards, a little over 2,800 yards, 25 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So about what I said. But we said Lamar is a clear runner for MVP. This person behind that, we say is kind of, and you got to say is Jared Goff. But do you understand the difference in those two teams? Those defense was able to get stops. Hit Baltimore created more stops. Like, it doesn't, and obviously you look at Jamar. He's about to be the Triple Crown winner. What did Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford do when they had a Triple Crown? And then let's talk about their defense. What did they do? They won the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like, they made a playoff push. Like, it would make no sense that their offense, Joe Burrow and Jamar, is playing this well.
That productive. Yeah, that productive.
Like, there's no doubt in my mind Joe Burrow will be an MVP candidate. Like, their offense is putting up over 28 points a game, pretty much, and they're still losing games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's sad, bro. Like,
you gotta win. You gotta win to get those extra things, and you can't be on a losing team and expect to get it.
Exactly, man. It's tough. It really is. It's kind of mind-boggling that people think, man, we need, and you kind of like look at the Jets, right? They're like, oh, you kind of think of the guys they got. I think Garrett Wilson's a true number one receiver. Alan
Yeah.
Lazard, he's a great, 2-3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You kind of look at the running backs, Brees Hall, Braylon Allen, and they're still trading for more offense. And when they add Devontae Adams, and you say, "Whoa, how is this team still not winning games?" There was a stat saying like this was the first team to have over 25 points, no turnovers, and still lose the game because at the end of the day, defense will always prevail more than offense, bro. Having a strong, stout defense it's like the ultimate equalizer for a great offense, bro. It really doesn't matter how good your quarterback's playing. Like, think about before Dak got hurt. Wasn't that your rookie year? Wasn't Dak putting up MVP numbers?
Yeah, he was throwing for like 500, 400.
400. I remember I used to be on TV like, dog is going crazy. And y'all was still losing games. I remember I was watching the Browns game and they put up 45. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all was struggling on
We
D.
had no defense. We had no defense. Like zero defense.
Dak was on the MVP race.
But Dak was keeping us in the games for sure.
So I'm saying like it like people need to wake up. Like defense is always going to prevail. And it's tough, bro. Because if we look at that Rams team, let's think who they acquired. They had Aaron Donald. They went and traded for Von Miller. They still have Floyd. They incorporated Jalen Ramsey from a year ago. Darius Williams. And they had great role players, but they had a great defense, great rushers, great DBs. They was just flowing, bro. So I say like, man, that you know what I'm saying? And like think about the Super Bowl win. They held Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon to what? 20 points.
Yep.
They created stops. They created turnovers. They made Joe Burrow get off the spot. And they walked away with a Cooper Kupp walk-off touchdown. But you said they don't have that defense. That does not work. You can't go shot. You can't have shootouts no more. So the idea of people trading for more offensive weapons does that matter? I mean, we've seen the greatest Tom Brady transform, and these is good players. And I don't want to take anything away from these players, but Julian Edelman became one of the greatest, people with Tom Brady. I'm not saying Tom Brady didn't have some of the greatest receivers of all time like Randy Moss, but he didn't need 3 All-Pro or Pro Bowl receivers. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a crazy time where we're like, man, my quarterback needs 2 running backs. My quarterback needs 3 receivers, 3 ones, 2 of the best old tackles in the game, and then we'll succeed. But is that really like the reality? Why would they feel like they need that? Because what? Great defenses out there. So why wouldn't you make sure your defense is sound? Like I couldn't believe the Bengals let go of Jesse Bates. And they let go Chidobe Awuzie. You know what I'm saying? Like, those is great foundational. I think Jesse Bates is having an all-pro year, him and Brian Branch. I mean, even look at Detroit now. I mean, obviously, they drafted very well. They hit on a lot of their draft picks. But what turned it around for them? Defense. The Detroit was always very close in games with Ravens, a bunch of these top teams, but the defense was kind of always suspect. But now, I mean, they turning around. Our defense is on fire. They clicking.
Yeah, clicking, getting the ball, interception, sacks, playing fast, everything. All that matters. Defense matters, man. You gotta have a good defense. If you got a good defense, you can stop anybody. You can hold them to minimum points, no matter who's on it, who they got, no matter what. Like just give you more opportunities for your team to score and move the ball down the field.
Yeah, so it's almost like we're like backpedaling and
Yeah,
where sports is going. Like all these penalties and flags to protect offensive players. You got to protect quarterbacks. But we kind of forgetting how some of these quarterbacks got these opportunities in the first place. Like, and we're talking about, would Tom Brady be the quarterback if his starting quarterback never got hurt? Well, we knew who Tom Brady was. Because this is when they was playing violent football. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tom Brady came across, he was like, man, I was scared to throw it across the middle. You know what I'm saying? So, like, like we got to think about this. Like, we doing so much to have offense put up 4 points because it's more exciting. But if you talk to a lot of old heads, look who they grew up with: LT, Derek Brooks, the Minister, like, you know, Reggie White. Like those was
come across that middle. Come across that middle if you want to.
Yeah, Ray Lewis. Like, we just getting so soft. Like, we forgetting why. That Baltimore defense, when they won that Super Bowl, how many points they hold teams to? 13 points. They said they just can't score. Like, forget it. You can't get in this end zone. Like, we forgetting what football really mean. And I think that probably bothers me the most. Like, we like, oh, nah, it's offense. We got to pay this quarterback. We got to get this. Like, we got to bring this receiver in. And it's just like, huh? Like, even Dak, like, would Dak be Dak if Romo never got hurt? You got to think, like, a bunch of these quarterbacks kind of like, you know, they were kind of getting groomed. You know, Jordan Love was under Aaron Rodgers for 3-4 years. And then, you know, obviously Rodgers wanted to get traded, but what he, you know, where he's at now and how much he progressed, does he do that if he just kind of just stepped into that role? It's just like, and it's like you see these young quarterbacks who don't get that time to progress and get better. It's kind of like you got to be great right now. So it's just always interesting to me why it's just like we became such an offensive league when defense carried the NFL for so long. Like, you think about it, from 93 into like 2014, nobody really cared about offense. Like, offense really wasn't a thing.
It was running the ball
until like the
regular stuff, like just regular stuff.
Yeah, until like the last decade, offense really wasn't like, oh, nobody really cared about, like think about, when you think about the all-time greats, you think about like Deion Sanders, Ray Lewis, like I said, Lawrence Taylor, there's some great running backs, like obviously like Emmitt Smith. People talk about Jerry Rice, but and like Michael Irving's. But you really talk about more defense than you do offense. Like, there was very few. And some of the stats that those quarterbacks was putting up back then, if they was in this league, they'd probably get booed off the stage. It was like a whole different system, whole different everything. Like, so it's just so, it's like so interesting now, like in this decade, in this time, in this era of the NFL, that like it just went completely off course.
It's definitely for offensive players now. It's definitely for them to score points, move the ball easy. They be calling flags on everything, illegal contacts. Like, I'm like, bro, he bumping into me. Like, what you want me to do? Put my hands up and just let him hit me? Like, it just be little stuff. You can't hit him hard. Like, you can't do nothing. You can't do nothing.
It's crazy.
Like, literally nothing.
And then let's look at this, bro. Let's get into the college football player, right? Lane, like, think about this, bro. And you was in the Saban era. You know what I'm saying? Lane Kiffin said some coaches don't want to play in a SEC championship game because of the risk of being knocked out of the college football playoff. Like, what? Like, if you truly, like, at least as a player, right? I'm not speaking of his players. At least as me, like, I want to line it up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
With the best.
I want to line up against the best. Like, I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't matter. Like, to me, if we supposed to be national champions, we're going to be national champions. Point blank, period. Like,
real.
I want to be in that.
Go
like,
through whoever. We want to beat whoever.
like let's think about the Joe Burrow team, right? Like they all-time best team in college football history.
Facts.
They dog walked everybody.
Went through everybody, earned the championship.
Went through
Man,
they went through the SEC twice because dog walk.
Yeah.
They gave y'all real belt.
BTA.
Like what,
cold.
bro? Like it should not matter if you like that. You like that, bro. And I'm not saying everybody journey like that because obviously I'm comparing them to the best team in college football history. You know what I'm saying? If you look at that team alone, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, first round running back. Justin Jefferson, highest paid receiver in football NFL history. Jamar Chase, soon to be
next highest paid receiver in NFL history.
Like Joe Burrow was once the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. So I'm not taking away. I know I'm comparing to the best team in college history and probably football ever that we've ever seen assembled. But the standpoint is, it didn't matter. They lined it up. You feel me? Like, you know how it was at Bama. Like, y'all lined up. Like, y'all playing the SEC championship. Get ready for the national playoff. Like, it didn't matter. Like, we knew we was getting the ring.
We couldn't wait for them games.
Yeah, this is part of the process.
It never was a moment like, damn, we gotta play them. They always was like, damn, we gotta play them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, if you that team to be fair, your name come across that, like, when Michigan knew they had to play y'all, what they do? You saw in the room, they was like, damn, we gotta play Bama. Like,
yeah.
Like, I remember that. Like, they was like, damn, we gotta play Bama. Like, that's the type of, like, knowing you defeated a team before y'all even lined it up. Like, bro, it honestly get me excited when people be like, man, we gotta go to Dallas. We gotta worry about Micah this game. We gotta learn about D-Law, Trey. Like, these some good players. Like, yeah, I want to be like, yeah, you gotta worry about me. Yeah. Like, come through here, earn this win. Like, that's exciting to me, bro. Like, as players, you want them games. Like, so to have your coach wanting that mentality, I just can't agree with that. You should want you should be. That should be like
if you earn it.
Yeah, that's a blessing to be in them games.
Facts, and if you beat them, if you win, you earned it. You know, you feel proud about it.
You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be very interesting. I understand that SEC division is crazy with Texas, Georgia, Bama, Tennessee, Kentucky, A&M. But if you like that, go through it. I seen it before. It'll be different when you see it with our own eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? LSU beat Texas, Bama, Georgia. They went through the whole gauntlet. You know what I'm saying? So
whole gauntlet. BTA, everybody.
Yeah. And then gave it to other divisions.
Mm-hmm.
So we've seen it before. So I can't agree to it. I can't agree with it. You know what I mean? So that they gotta get that. You know what I'm saying? Who do you think the best team in the SEC is right now? And don't say Bama.
Alabama.
Come on, bro. We keep it real on this podcast, bro. I don't tolerate.
When we gotta play some dogs, you know how we come every single time. They be locked in, they be ready to go. It's to be them teams that it's the teams that they don't think that they can lose to is when they get to acting all crazy. But when we play comp, when it's some bump, they locked in, ready to go.
I see y'all lose to Tennessee.
Okay. Is Tennessee a good team?
Yeah. Good bump. You know what it was like when y'all played Tennessee in college.
Yeah, it's tough. Bro, going to them stadiums, all that stuff matters, especially in college too. Like, that stuff matters. Them fans is crazy. They get in your head and all that, and they're not gonna shut up the whole game. Like, it's gonna be loud the whole game. It's just a whole bunch of factors. You really gotta go in somebody's territory, like, and win, you know?
It's crazy. If college football players had NFL schedules, I would probably stay in college all 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Like as far as the schedule, like game schedule or like practice
Game schedule, practice, all
or just
season,
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
I mean, they getting paid like some college players is making more money than vet minimums, and they
Yeah.
pushing the market. You know what I'm saying? So it
Facts.
is not
Yep.
too far off. I wouldn't mind staying that extra year in college if we had an NFL schedule. I honestly, because the best football to me, best friendships, brotherhoods have been in college.
Yeah. Yeah. You get that team aspect. Like y'all do everything together. Y'all sweat together. Y'all working out together. Y'all training together. You see when your brother hurting, he see when you hurting, and that just bring y'all closer. So when y'all go out there on that Saturday, it's time for war. You know that the person right next to you, like, yeah, I got your back. I know what type of work you put in. I seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So it just give you an extra little, and you just mesh with people like that you see working as hard as you, or even harder. Like when I was at Alabama my first year. I used to always try to get around like them people that was working hard. Like Minka, he was a junior, or I think a junior, or yeah, he was a junior. Eddie Jackson, Minka, right? Reuben Foster. Like when they running sprints, they coming first. Like what I'm saying, they working hard. They coming first. Like I always wanted to try to like do everything that Minka did because he was so perfect. School, on the field, off the field, like he did everything right. And that was just somebody I was like, all right. I know if I work as hard as him or doing the things that he's doing, I can be that too. So, he helped me out a lot just watching him. He always getting extra, always getting academic student of the week, always in the weight room, always doing extra. Like, he is somebody I truly looked up to, especially when I was at Alabama.
Yeah, that's love. Shout out to Minka. You
Yeah,
changed Trayvon Diggs' career.
for sure.
Hey, we're gonna end on that note, man. I appreciate you, Trey, for coming on to the show, bro. As always.
Appreciate you, my brother.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna see you soon. Let's get back to work. Hey, be that light. See you tomorrow morning,
Be
baby.
that light, shine bright like a diamond.
Yes, sir. It's always great to have Trey on here. But let's get into our so much more segment. Let's talk about someone who's doing so much more for their team, just like how Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're a financial services company too. And let's get right into it. Taysom Hill against the Browns. First player in NFL history with 100 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, 50 receiving yards, and 10 passing yards in a game, and a 42-yard kick return. Total stats, 3 touchdowns, 138. Like, man. I mean, Taysom Hill's been in this league so long. He's just been so dangerous. A multi-acid, whether it's blocking. It's almost like the Saints know what type of weapon he is, and he's just been in that organization for so long. They kind of never let him go. And his name always kind of just gets swept under the rug. But today on this podcast on the Edge, Taysom Hill, keep doing your thing, man. You the man. You the man. And then let's get across another AFC team. Jets have fired their GM. Jets have now fired their GM, Joe Douglas. Fired Robert Saleh last month. What's going on? What's going on with this Jets team? Like we hit it a little bit earlier. It just doesn't make sense, man. People saying it's Aaron Rodgers, and I tell you this, and it sucks, right? When you're the quarterback, people gonna blame you or people gonna praise you. When you're an MVP, a Hall of Famer, people expect you just to turn an organization around. The truth of reality is no one's just waking up and changing any organization around. It takes time. It takes the players' commitment. It takes everyone. One player is not going to carry a whole team. Not to no Super Bowl, not to no playoffs. It just does not work like that. And that's the truth. That's really the truth. Like Aaron Rodgers is probably one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. Is he playing horribly? I'm going to say no. Is he playing the best in the NFL? I'm going to say no. But he's playing good enough for people to win games. He's playing good enough. They're just not playing great team football right now. And I don't think that's, you could say it's coaching, but to blame a specific player, I just can't agree with. Or a specific person. The GM bring in people he thought would hit. And most of his picks did hit. But like I said, defense wins championships. You know what I'm saying? Sauce Gardner's a hit. He had Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall. Will McDonald has 8+ sacks right now. Jermaine obviously got hurt, but this team, he hit a lot on it. Like, he hit on the draft. But sometimes I keep telling y'all, it's not about the talent. It's not. It's about what coach can best put this team together so you can win. Create the best cultural environment. And that's the biggest difference, man. That's honestly the biggest difference. They have all they need. They have it all. It really doesn't make sense. This is one of them things where you say they match up like the Eagles, but don't have the Eagles record. Yeah. You talk about Devontae Adams, you put him in that same category with A.J. Brown. You talk about running backs, Brees Hall, Braylon Allen. I'm not saying they Saquon Barkley's, because Saquon, man, I mean, y'all saw that game against Washington. I'm not saying they're Saquon Barkley's, but they're not too far down that tier of caliber. You talk about Garrett Wilson, you would say, he was a number one. Obviously, with Devontae Adams, I'm not saying he's not a number one, but, Devontae Smith could be a number one on any team. So, you talk about caliber offense, you can't say it's not there. You honestly can't say it's not there. The potential, what they're capable of, it's all right there. They're just not putting together like the Eagles are. The Eagles are playing great defense right now. They managed to cage Jaden Daniels, and a bunch of other great quarterbacks right now. They're playing great football. And you can almost say the same thing. Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying Jalen Hurts has reached Aaron Rodgers' level. Aaron Rodgers probably a couple more tiers higher. But Jalen Hurts is playing good football right now. It's all about how the team is meshing, man. It really doesn't matter about the talent. The talent does not matter, man. It's as so like these circumstances that we're seeing don't make a lot of sense, but at the end of the day, it's kind of just what we're facing right now. You would say this Jets team should be in playoff contention. They should be competing for, a top 4 seed with the Bills, the Chiefs, and probably the Bengals if they did it right. It's tough, man. It really is. And you bring up the Bills, and you say, how's Josh Allen, who's, he's probably the MVP favorite right now, along with Lamar Jackson. And, you say Josh Allen doesn't have half of what Aaron Rodgers has. You know what I mean? Like, Josh Allen doesn't have a Devontae Adams. Josh Allen doesn't even have a Garrett Wilson. They have, I forgot they did get Amari Cooper. But you're talking about two guys where you could arguably, say they're in a, like, what are we talking about here? James Cook is playing very well for them. But, they're finding a way to win games. And their defense is clicking. Point blank, period. This Bills defense is on fire. I understand what, look at, Josh Allen stats. He has 2,500 yards, 18 touchdowns, 5 rushing touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. But we just compare those to, Lamar and Joe Burrow, and you kind of see where they're at and where their team's at. And it kind of doesn't make sense. And what a lot of people not bringing up is, field goals are starting to cost teams games, man. It's the truth. And that's how you can argue and say they might have won them games if they made a little bit more field goals at, the Bengals. So that's when we say, like, you're telling me, Aaron Rodgers controls how many field goals his kicker makes or Joe Burrow controls that. No. It's complementary football. You have to be great on offense, defense, and special teams. Everything matters. Like literally everything, man. Like you got to understand football at a very high level to comprehend what is going on. It's right there in front of you, but a lot of people are missing it. You know what I'm saying? So Josh Allen, who may have not be having the year Joe Burrow and Lamar's having, but his record's showing. He's up there for the MVP race because they're winning. And they're finding ways to win games. Their defense is finding ways to get stops. They're scoring on D. You know, they're making it easy on Josh Allen, where he doesn't have to be Superman. Joe Burrow's going into every game and saying, I have to drop at least 28 points. I have to drop at least 30 points to win a game. That's a horrible mindset, horrible way to win football games. It's horrible. But we're halfway done with the season. Let's look at the playoff picture. If the season ended today, this is AFC, this is NFC. Let's get into it. AFC, this would be interesting. I would love the Houston Texans Chargers matchup. Both teams climbing, both teams playing really well right now. That Ravens Steelers game is going to be very good too. It seems like can Lamar get over that hump against the Steelers and Chiefs? It'll be very interesting. And Broncos Bills. A lot of people didn't expect the Broncos to be where they at right now. They really didn't. They did not expect that. So that's going to be very interesting. NFC. Let's get into NFC. And what I say, that Broncos defense on fire. They're making up for a lot of what Bo Nix is missing on. The Broncos defense is on fire. A bunch of young superstars. Lockdown corners. And this is all they let Justin Simmons go. You know what I'm saying? So the proof is in the pudding. I'm going to put it like that. The proof is in the pudding. The Lions have been the best team in the NFC so far. It'll be very interesting to see how the Eagles Commanders turn out. This is if you look at the start of the year, will people honestly say this is how the NFC would look right now in the playoff contention? No 49ers, no Cowboys. This is a very surprising reality. At least for me. Maybe y'all say I'm delusional again. But, you know, it'll be very interesting. Like, I don't think no one would guess that the Super Bowl returning, they lost in the Super Bowl, but would not be in playoff contention with everyone they had coming back. So this is very, you know, obviously we lost our quarterback, so it's, you know, we got a tougher route, but would you confidently say you saw the Commanders being in playoff contention? You know, Vikings obviously letting go of Kirk Cousins, not knowing who their quarterback was, and J.J. McCarthy dropping him off, going with the knee injury. You know, this is a very surprising list for sure. The Lions is the only one that you're like, Lions, and obviously you knew the Eagles will always be a good team. It's kind of like, interesting. But let's take some final questions from the chat. Let's get into it. Are the Cavs losing their first one tonight playing the Celtics? I don't know. Donovan Mitchell's playing at an all-time high. He's playing at elite level right now. It's going to be a very interesting game. I can't wait to see it. Any thoughts on Bill Belichick talking about the lack of effort when tackling? You know, no. Bill's one of the GOATs. Obviously, if he sees something, I'm never going to question it. But, you know, at the end of the day, a bunch of teams need to tackle better. I don't think it's a specific team. I don't think it's a specific, you know, players. I think tackling is a lot's missed on because of the rules they're in placing. They're in placing a lot. They're placing a lot of rules, a lot of things where you get penalized for tackling. You know, it's hard to make great tackles nowadays. What's going on for that? They're dealing with things like the Cowboys, injuries, missing Christian McCaffrey half a year. Brandon Ayuk's done for the season. Obviously some of their other star players battling injuries. It's just one of them years in the NFL where injuries is taking over the league, truly. And it's been tough. I mean, T. Higgins obviously had a great game last game, being back, but he missed multiple games because of injuries and things like that. Obviously, wasn't season ending, but these injuries that pile up to take you out a couple weeks. Like, look at us. I was out 4 weeks. D-Law is out 4 or 5 weeks. All right, Marshawn was out 4 or 5 weeks. We lost Sam Williams to the end of the year. We just lost our quarterback to the end of the year. So it's just like a bunch of things that just kind of just adding on, to the pile. We just lost, our starting nickel, Jordan Lewis, for a game. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? So it's just one of them years in the NFL. And what conversations do you have with the kicker after missing potential game-winning kicks? Honestly, it's not really a conversation, man. I don't doubt anyone's preparation coming into the game. I think everyone prepares the way. They come to work the same way we come to work. They watch film the same way we watch film. And they practice the same way we practice. I understand they rely on someone holding the ball right. They rely on the snapper. Everything's in sync, organization. Everything has to work perfect for them to do their job. So it's tough at the end of the day, but, I don't say anything, man. Their process. They're there for that reason. And, they have a lot of success, in their process. So, it goes to that. That Broncos defense is sick. Where do you rank in the league? Honestly, I rank that Broncos defense top 3. I think you have to look at that defense and you say they've been on a tear right now. And, you kind of say that Vikings defense, that Broncos defense. And, at 2 and 3, it's a toss-up between, that Bills defense, and it's a toss-up between the Bills defense and who else defense been on fire? Damn, I can't think right now. There was another defense I had in mind. That Bears defense is on fire too. But it's a bunch of defenses right now that's really playing at a very high level. Even the Steelers defense, very high level. What's your favorite Rihanna song? Right now it's Shine Bright Like a Diamond. Diamond. That's kind of been our thing. Shine your light. But I would say, going back, it's probably like Unfaithful by Rihanna. That's like my jam. Not jam. But that's a wrap. I appreciate everyone for tuning into The Edge. We're heading down for a division game next week. It's going to be very exciting. Jaden Daniels obviously have an amazing Rookie of the Year campaign, and he's looking to get back on track with wins. But it's going to be a great game. I can't wait. It's going to be a very interesting game. Obviously, with half their players coming from the Cowboys, half their coaches coming from the Cowboys. But on game day, it's all warfare. We coming. I can't wait. I hope y'all all come out to DC. Make this a home game how we have and take over DC like we have in previous years. I can't wait to see y'all, Cowboy Nation, and I'll see y'all soon.